Apparently, some of the people who watch my videos have been searching up the question, how much silver to be a millionaire on YouTube? And I thought this was a little amusing at first because it seems like the answer is pretty literal. Wouldn't you just take the current price of silver and divide that from $1 million to see how many ounces of silver you end up with? But I guess it really does depend on your approach to how you decide to spend that $1 million because to be fair, there are silver coins out there that weigh less than an ounce that are worth more than $1 million right now, if you can believe that. And at the same time, if you were to buy silver as cheaply as possible, you would end up with over 40,000 ounces of silver from that $1 million investment. So, those are two very different ways of spending money on technically the same thing. Now, when you buy a coin that expensive, you're not investing in silver, you're investing in numismatics at that point, but the point still does stand. And then I started thinking though, I don't really think people are wondering how much silver you would need to physically have $1 million worth of silver. I think what people really want to know is how much silver should they buy if they want to become a millionaire one day from silver investing. And oh boy, do I got some bad news for you. Because if we take a look at the last 10 years of silver prices, you'll see that the total price fluctuation is only a little bit over 100%, with the low price being $12 towards the beginning of 2020, and then shortly after, the price went all the way up to $27, which is not too far above where it's been holding stable since. But the interesting thing is that this is the biggest, literally the biggest shift in price that we've seen in the last decade. This defines the highest and lowest point in price, but it happened in a very quick time within itself. The price went lower than it's been in a very long time, like historically low when it hit $12 an ounce, and then it actually shot up to a really good, solid price. So I don't really know exactly what causes a situation like that. I don't know if it was just a bounce back effect or if there was something economically at play that is far too advanced for my simple brain to be aware of. But what I do know is that in that moment, it was one of those weird chances to actually make some money from silver. And I remember buying a decent amount of constitutional silver from somebody when it was around $12 an ounce, and they were kind of worried and panicked, and they just sold it off to me. And I was able to sell it when silver was around the price of $25 an ounce and actually see a pretty quick return, which I never have seen from silver. I mean, the closest thing I can think of is when I bought this real special edition gold foil, one of 2016 first day, all that nonsense, American Silver Eagle that I don't really personally believe in, but I bought it with the intention to sell. And I think after a year or a year and a half, I ended up selling it for maybe 250 when I paid 80, which was a great return. But all of that value came from it being a collectible piece that is from a very recognizable coin series. It didn't come from the price of silver changing. And again, it took a year and a half. It was only around 6 months that silver went in more than doubled in price and made me a decent amount of money on my investment. But what I'm trying to say, and the reason I bring up all these anecdotes, is that those are literally the best case scenarios for silver, and it still took a significant period of time, and I certainly wasn't becoming a millionaire. Not only that, but even if I had had $10,000 to invest, I would have gotten back maybe 20 or 30,000 depending on which investment you're talking about. And in the very best case scenario in the last decade from pure silver investing, you would have maybe been able to turn every dollar you spent into about $2.30. And that's not including the fact that you're probably going to have to deal with shipping fees and overhead costs of your business, things like that if you're buying at a large scale, taxes maybe as well, things that usually eat into profits. But with all that being said, here's the point of this video. You're not going to become a millionaire from silver stacking. You're not going to be a millionaire silver stacker unless you're just already a millionaire. So get out there and get rich if that's what you want, but don't expect it to come from silver. This is just a way to protect some of your wealth against inflation in the long term if you make really well-timed purchases. And even then, it's not foolproof. So don't expect the world from silver. And in fact, don't expect all that much because it's not that special. It's just another investment and just another way to go about diversifying your portfolio.